something new today. From morphology, we are moving towards anatomy. It's not new. Please. Yes. All monocots names. All serial getting some monocots. Without the class being quiet, I am not able to focus on teaching, please. So I would appreciate if you can maintain silence. मुझे क्या थोड़ा डांटना वाटना कम आता था मेरे को. I don't know how to scold. I am currently taking tuitions from Arti sir. Special classes चल रहे हैं. Yeah, I'm learning. Stand, I'll try my best. Right.
You should teach him not to scold.
Yeah. No. Right. Let's all reserve our comments to ourselves. Right. Please. Yeah. So, I wish I could imbibe that one quality in me. I really wish. Right. So, from morphology, we move on to anatomy. Now, this chapter also has been modified in the new rationalized syllabus. In the earlier part of the syllabus, we had 4 sections, 6.1 to 6.4. In the rationalized syllabus, the textbooks which you all have, 6.1 and 6.4 has been deleted. Only 6.2, 6.3 is there. But without 6.1, we will not be able to do the remaining part of the chapter. It is okay if we leave out 6.4, no issues on that. Lekin 6.1 essential hai, because that is from the base of the chapter. And I don't know which idiot up there has deleted this. But whatever. Irrespective of whether it is present or not present in your rationalized syllabus, 6.1 has to be done by us. Uska DCT bhi hoga, uske questions bhi aayenge, sab kuch hoga. We will consider it as a part of our syllabus because it is essential. And it will be useful to us in our future chapters also. Now, morphology was all about the external features, external structure. Anatomy is about internal features, internal structure. So, from outside we are moving to inside. Now, anatomy, to learn anatomy properly, we need to know what are tissues. What are the various kinds of tissues which are present in plants. Now, we all are aware about biological organization. The organization in life starts with the smallest unit, which is called cell. Group of cells, tissue. Tissue ke aage organ, organ system, and then organism. We are all aware of that, right now. So we are dealing with the level of tissue right now. So tissue is a group of cells which has a common origin, a similar structure, and a similar function. Now see, the use of word similar is not the case as same. Right? Similar or same में थोड़ा difference है. Similar is almost there. या फिर in the Bombay slang 19-20 थोड़ा सा. Right? As we say it. Because when we are defining some complex type of tissue, this definition will not hold in good. इसलिए हमको word same नहीं similar use करना पड़ता है. So group of cells having common origin, a common structure, common function. plant has different kinds of tissues. There are two different types of tissues in plants. We have meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. The two major groups of tissues are meristematic and permanent. We already have introduced meristems when we did root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem. Right? So we already know what are meristematic tissues. They are the ones where the cells are in a constant state of division. Great. Now first we will go to classification of meristems and then maybe classification of permanent. I don't think so we'll be able to finish this. We might be able to only do till sclerenchyma. Xylem phloem will take up in the next session. Now, as you can see from the chart, meristems, you might say, sir, it is of three types. No. But it can be classified in three ways. See, for every classification, the most essential thing is a criteria. If I don't have a criteria, I cannot classify. Right? For example, let's say in school, when we opt for a second language, right? Somebody will opt for Hindi, somebody will take up Gujarati or Marathi or French or maybe something else. So can we classify the classroom on the criteria of second language? बिना क्राइटेरिया के मैं क्लासिफिकेशन नहीं कर सकता. तो I have three criterias for classifying meristem. So in the next session, when I ask you what is the types of meristem, you will pose a written question. Okay, sir, on which criteria do you want classification? Do you want on the basis of origin, or do you want it on the basis of position, or do you want it on the basis of function? So we have three ways in which we can classify meristematic tissues. The first is origin. Now when you say origin, what you are implying is when has the tissue come into force? कब आया यह tissue? Early part of plant life or late part of plant life? Correct? Origin का मतलब होता है in which part of the life has the tissue come. So let's take up that first. The position is very obvious. Where in the plant is the tissue located and what is function performed? Those are very obvious ones now. Now in the previous session, can I move this please? ये bag है किसी का नीचे? Okay. Now did we talk of something like fertilization in the previous lecture? Right? कौन सा was single या double? Right? उसमें the first fertilization was male gamete with female gamete, which results in formation of a zygote. Now zygote is a single cell, 2n single cell. The zygote starts undergoing mitosis, and it forms a group of cells which we call it as embryo. Right? So the initial group of cell which is formed is nothing but promeristem. That initial group is nothing but promeristem. Right? The pro develops as a primary meristem. The pro will develop as primary meristem. That means the pro and primary, they are coming very early in plant life. They are coming very early in plant life. Pro तो एकदम embryo के टाइम पे. And when the plant is still young, the tissues which are coming are primary meristematic tissues. Right? Let's take one small group. Right? एक group ले लेते हैं हम लोग. I'll just make a group of cells. Let's say this is a group of primary now. ये primary है. Okay, I just write here primary. Are all of them in a state of division? Continuously dividing. Now, a few of them will lose their ability to divide. cell division, you will come across, there is a cell cycle. If you have done some basics of cell cycle in school, right now, interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, है कि नहीं? हाँ. So, थोड़ा सा डिटेल में जब जाएंगे, you will learn there is a stage which is called as G0. हाँ, resting. So the cell goes into G0 now. चला गया. मतलब it stops dividing. So once it stops dividing, can I put it as meristematic? No. I will put it as permanent. So this is meristem, this is permanent. So some of the cells, let's say these last two rows, gone. So the last two rows now, I am placing them here under permanent. So tell me, where are the permanent arising from? Primary. The permanent is arising from primary. So primary gives rise to permanent. Are these the first of the permanents? So, can I take the liberty of writing as primary permanent? It is at primary permanent. Now the process by which the primaries have gone to permanent, क्या हो गया? Division stop हो गया. This process is called as differentiation. So now let me make it complete. The primary meristematic tissue undergoes differentiation, loses its capacity to divide, and now becomes primary permanent. So what is the process here? Differentiation. So now I have primary permanent. But now what happens is, some of the primary permanent regain their capacity to divide. So let's say these four of them regain their capacity. So if they are regaining the capacity, will they again become meristematic? But now I can't group them with the previous ones. So I will call them as secondary meristem. So secondary meristem have come from which group? Primary permanent. The primary permanent have come from which group? Primary meristem. Repeat again. Primary meristem undergoes differentiation to give rise to? That means, is the primary permanent reversing the entire process? So the reversing of the entire process is called as de-differentiation. So when I say primary permanent undergoes de-differentiation to form now something which is called as secondary meristem. Secondary meristem. Do I have this secondary meristem now? The pro and the primary, I told you, they are arising early part of plant life. The secondary is coming very late in plant life. The secondary is coming. So what is origin referring to? Origin is referring to when has it come in plant life. So now do we have proper classification that the pro and primary are coming very early in plant life and the secondary meristem is coming late in plant life. That's why my classification criteria is what? Origin. When has it come? This is my first criteria of classification. But now, the story is not over yet. Some of the cells of secondary meristem, they lose their division now. Bas karo yaar. They're playing this ding dong game here. Huh? They lose their power of division. So now which permanent cell they become now? Secondary permanent. Right? I told you I like this batch somewhat. So secondary meristem will give rise to secondary permanent. Now, any guesses on what this process will be called? Redifferentiate. Because it is differentiating again. Re बोला क्या? चलो ठीक है. It is called as redifferentiation. get this? Recap again. Right? Embryo bana. The tissue is pro. Pro becomes primary. Primary undergoes differentiation to form primary permanent. Primary permanent undergoes dedifferentiation to form secondary meristem. Secondary meristem undergoes redifferentiation to form secondary. So now I have got a variety of tissues in plants according to the life of the plant. So pro and primary are arising coming very early in plant life. The secondary meristems are coming late in plant life. Acha. Now very important point. The primary, they are responsible for vertical growth of the plant. A plant will grow in two ways, vertically and horizontally, lengthwise and widthwise. The primary meristems are responsible for vertical growth. The secondary is responsible for horizontal growth. So the primary will cause longitudinal growth of the plant, lengthwise. The secondary will cause the horizontal growth. Acha. Whenever vertical growth occurs, in a plant length में grow होगा, we will call it as primary growth. And the widthwise growth is called as secondary growth. This is the 6.4 which has been deleted, secondary growth wala process. How the plant undergoes secondary growth. That has been removed from the syllabus.
So that's secondary permanent.
Huh? Secondary permanent, yes. So are we clear on this please now please? So अपना पहला criteria of classification is origin. Move to second criteria. The second criteria is position. Very self-explanatory. Right? भाई ये tissue plant में किधर present है? What is the position of this tissue in the plant? Now I would really appreciate if you can be attentive. Slightly dicey here. Let's say this is the plant. The meristem which is found at the apex obviously would be called as apical meristems. So how many apical meristems do we have in the plant? Two. Root apical meristem and shoot apical meristem. Root apical and shoot apical. Now tell me, what is the role of the root apical? Cells will start multiplying, elongation of the root will happen, positively geotropic. Shoot apical positively phototropic. Which growth? Primary or secondary? Primary. Vertical growth होगा ना से. So apical is what type of a tissue? Is it a primary? So when I say apical meristem is primary meristem, I am using two criteria साथ में. जब मैं उसको अपाइकल बोल रहा हूँ, मैं कौन सा क्राइटेरिया यूज कर रहा हूँ? पोजीशन. उसी को जब मैं प्राइमरी बोल रहा हूँ तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ अच्छा, बिकॉज इट इज कमिंग अर्ली इन प्लांट लाइफ. ठीक है. अब ये हो गया अपाइकल. नाउ कमिंग टू इंटरकैलरी एंड लैटरल. नाउ एज दिस अपाइकल स्टार्ट्स टू ग्रो, तुम्हारा शूट को लेंथ बढ़ेगा अपना. Now what do we have on the shoot? Nodes and internodes? Right? Nodes and internodes. Nodes and internodes. Yes, great. Now you will have some tissues which will develop between the patches. अब क्या होगा? Apical जैसे बढ़ेगा, it will start breaking off. It will start breaking off. And between the two broken parts of apical, see, apical is referred as a mature tissue now. सबसे पहले वाला टिश्यू है वो. Between the two broken parts of the apical, you will have start new tissue coming, which will be near the base of internode, which is called as intercalary meristem. This new will be between two patches of apical. Apical का part break off हो गया, right? So जो original है और broken part है, दोनों के बीच में आएगा, and somewhere near the internode. Now internode से leaf आएगा. So leaves actually come from which meristem? Intercalary meristem. Okay. As the shoot grows, will the nodes, right? पहले length इतना है, shoot grow हो गया. Will the nodes move away from each other? And as the nodes move away from each other, actually it is the internode which is elongating. So which kind of growth is this, vertical or horizontal? So which is this, primary or secondary? Primary. So even intercalary is responsible for which growth? Primary. Both apical and intercalary are primary meristems. That means they are arising early or late? Early in plant life. They are primary meristems, responsible for primary growth also. Now when you look at the lateral parts of the plant, you will find tissues which are coming on the lateral side. Tissues arising on the lateral side. If I take a cross section, this is xylem phloem. Can you see? एकदम periphery पे tissues are there. Which I look at from the front side, I can see only the two-dimensional part. ये दिखेगा मुझे. Now these, the direction of growth will be this. Isn't it horizontal growth now? So, yes, this is the lateral meristem. This meristem is the lateral meristem. The lateral meristems are secondary in nature. Arising early or late? Late. Lateral meristem causes secondary growth, height or width. देखो दो टाइम secondary मैंने बोला. It's a secondary meristem का मतलब arising late, causing secondary growth मतलब increase horizontal. ठीक है? So the apical and intercalary are responsible for vertical growth, the primary growth of the plant, and the lateral meristems is responsible for the horizontal growth. Yes, please. If we just refer to the text here, ये देखो, the meristems which occur at the tips of root and shoot produce primary tissues are called apical meristems. So root apical and shoot apical. Root apical occupies tip of root, shoot apical occupies the distant most region. So shoot ka tip. Now if you look at the diagram given in your notes here, two diagrams have been given. Can you see this is the root apical meristem, this is the shoot apical meristem. Okay. Now root apical में can you see area of division? Can you see root cap? Yeah. Okay. This is shoot apical. This is shoot apical meristem, group of cells. Now from the shoot apical meristem, can you see a structure arising called as leaf primordium? Yeah. That means leaf का origin यहाँ पे होगा. Because this is very early part of the stem now. From the shoot apical, the lengthening will start. फिर nodes in the nodes appear होंगे and from the nodes the leaves are going to arise. So from the shoot apical, you had the leaf primordium coming and यहाँ की growth होने के बाद there will be some cells left behind. From there you will have axillary bud. The पहला axillary bud. Where are these axillary buds present in the plant? In the axils. Do you know what's an axil? The angle between the leaf and the stem. And this axillary bud, I have told you, is magical. It can be transformed into a thorn. It can become a tendril. It can become a branch. और अगर यहाँ पर axillary bud floral bud हो गया, it can become a flower also. It can become a flower also. Right? ये देखो. Yes, please. During the formation of leaves and elongation of stem, leaves कहाँ से बनेगी? ऊपर के डायग्राम में leaf primordium. Can you see the structure leaf primordium, please? That is the origin of leaves. And elongation of cells, stem, sorry. Some cells are left behind from shoot apical. They constitute the axillary bud. The meristem which is occurring between mature tissues is called intercalary meristem. I told you mature tissues में the apical is breaking away. Right? The apical is breaking away. Let's say this is apical. This पूरा apical है. अपाइकल ब्रेक ऑफ होता है और पार्ट नीचे आ गया. So do you have tissues developing between these two parts now?
Yes.
That is the intercalary meristem. That is the intercalary meristem, and its location is near the internodes. Near the internodes. See the point given here. They occur in grasses and regenerate parts removed by the grazing herbivores. You see those cattle grazing, na? अब grass है, they'll not remove the grass from the root. They might just pluck off the grass ऊपर से खाली. So this has to be regenerated. So this आधा grass का regeneration has to be done by which tissue? Intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem. Because ऊपर का apical खा गया, तो intercalary will regenerated.
So the isolated bud is from intercalary meristem.
Yes. The remaining cells remaining after the formation.
So leaf is from apical or intercalary?
Huh?
So leaf is from apical or intercalary?
Intercalary. Origin is from shoot apical. Okay. The petiole and all that come from the intercalary meristem. Yes.
They're also from apical.
Apical में then it's the elongation of stem. जैसे stem बढ़ता जाएगा वैसे nodes आएंगे.
So they are only for the node.
Yes. Huh? The leaves are going to come from the nodes, but the nodes has to come from the elongation of the shoot apical, isn't it? And when it starts elongating, the cells left behind make up the axillary bud. Right now, so nodes have to be from the shoot apical.
So the internode or like the region in between the intercalary will be secondary meristem, right?
No. They,
Internode region.
no. These will come later on in plant life. Right? See, when you are talking about monocots, right? Grass का example दिया इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ तुमको. Example grass का दिया ना तुमने. Grass is a monocot. If you look at monocots, sugarcane,